Hey everybody. How's everybody doing? Okay. I um I wanted to make another video today. Well, I would like to make more videos more often. Um but I wanted to make a video because yesterday I just went back and watched it. Like, thanks for hanging in there, guys. That was a really emotional uh experience. So thank you for holding space for that. What I didn't expect. So here's what's crazy. And Tia, I think you're on with me. The other day in our chat in Telegram, you brought up um, you brought up uh no, I can't remember even what I was about to say. Oh yeah. Does fear of being seen sometimes stop you from doing things you want to do? Yes. Um, because my fear of being seen has been the catalyst for me to suppress my actual experience because I thought if I shared who I really was, that people would abandon me. And so yesterday, I was at my breaking point and I just showed up really authentically with who I was at the moment without hiding anything. And what happened is I've gotten messages, I've gotten emails, about how much it resonated and how many of us are feeling that way. Like, we don't want to be here. It's not that we don't want to be here, though. It's that we don't know how to be here. I mean, that's what it is for me. I don't know how to be here. Um, but I have been through a lot of mental health experience, and through that experience, I have figured out how to not kill myself, which might sound all kinds of way to all kinds of people. I mean it in the best possible way, but because sometimes it's really just like that. I don't know if people who don't have mental illness, I don't know if they uh, contemplate suicide often as an option, or not. But I know for me, that's the first thing that comes into my mind. I should just fucking kill myself. And there used to be a real urge to that where I would follow through with it. And I've attempted suicide 6 times. And one time my heart stopped and they brought me back. And I was furious. I was so angry. I was like, I did it! You assholes! And now I go back and forth between gratitude and disappointment, if I'm completely honest. I love life. Life is beautiful. There's plenty of beautiful things. Like, this is the other thing too, is it's people think like, oh, just because you feel like you don't want to be here, you're not grateful, or you don't see the beauty in the world. Listen, you can be grateful and see beauty, and it can also not outweigh the pain that you've experienced, while watching my video from yesterday, I also had to stop myself from shutting myself down because I was watching it and I started to judge myself as like, oh, look at this whiny white bitch complaining about what she's been through when there's all of these people who are going through so much more horrific things. So I want to talk about how all trauma is valid. And comparing our trauma to someone else's trauma does nothing except suppress our ability to heal the trauma. So, uh, so that came up, and I don't know if you guys have a tendency to shut down yourself or judge yourself for feeling or tell yourself, oh, it's not that bad. Um, I don't know. I just want to encourage you to give yourself permission to allow other people's trauma to be valid and allow your trauma to be valid. So let's get into it. How did I learn not to kill myself? So I come from a family of mental illness on both sides, addiction, all of that stuff. I remember being told I was different from a very young age, and feeling different from a very young age. I was never able to quite connect with people around me, and I was an only child. So I was very social, but I was very isolated at the same time. I learned very early I couldn't be myself because that was too much. And so from an early age, I started to put myself in a box. And anytime we do that, anytime we have to shrink ourselves over a period of time, that's going to cause like some problems. So I put myself in a little box, and there's a whole lot of stuff that goes with that. My dad killed himself when I was 11. So that brought in and introduced this idea of, oh, you can kill yourself. Like, that's a thing that you can do. And so when I went into, hi, Betsy. Thanks for saying hi. By the time I was 8, though, I was in counseling already. And I just remember feeling like nobody understood and how stupid everybody was, that they didn't see these things that I could see. And there's a whole bunch of trauma. So there's a bunch of depression. And then by the time I was 18, I went to a doctor and I said, I feel like I am consistently clawing my way up a mud, like I'm in a mud pit, and I'm just clawing myself up, scratched, bloody, just clawing myself up. And maybe once in a while I'll get up and I'll see a little light, and then I slide right back down. And that's how I describe depression. So they diagnosed me with, I'm telling you this backstory so that you can understand why I got where I got and chose what I chose, and it's what actually helped me. So they put me on medication. They diagnosed me as depressive disorder severe and put me on antidepressants. They would work for a time period because they would shut the overstimulation off, but it shut down all the messages, including the messages from like source energy. So it would be good for a time period because it would help me recollect myself. My mind is full of constant conversation. And so it cut that off for me. And I could get myself together and I would do good, but then I would either have to come off of the medication for, it would disconnect me from God, is what it felt like. It didn't It made it better, then it made it worse, because then I felt disconnected from God. And anytime we feel disconnected from God or source or universe or whatever the fuck you want to call it, we are gonna not feel good. Like, that's it. I mean, like, call it what you will. If you feel disconnected from it, even if your idea is, oh, we come from a void, feeling disconnected from that isn't going to bring like relief and comfort. So, which is part of one of the techniques that I use. But I'm learning now. So, okay, let me go in order. Okay, so the medication made it worse, and made it better, then made it worse. And then I was also, one of my alters is very super hypersexual, and anytime anything goes wrong in life, that's their answer. Well, if we just go strip, we'll make some money, and then all our problems will be solved. And so I did that dance for 20 years. So, drinking, doing drugs, and taking antidepressants is not a good idea. Also, side note, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not suggesting that any of you come off of your medication, talk to a doctor, blah, 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 all of that stuff. Okay. This is just my experience and my opinion. So then, with then things, then I got into the car accident. Oh, and that fucked up my life for a while and brought in opiates. So then it was all of that. And then I had my kids when I was 26. And up until that point, I had always thought about killing myself. But when I had my kids, something switched inside. And not only did killing myself become an option, but it became the only solution to me having a psychotic breakdown. Because in my mind at the time, because I was hallucinating, I mean, I had a total psychotic breakdown. I was hearing voices. And what was terrifying was I felt like I was walking this line between realities, and I was losing the ability to tell the difference between what was real and what wasn't. And I was like there was when we lived in Puerto Rico for a little bit, there was a fat fuzzy demon in the closet, and I didn't sleep for weeks because this thing, if I fell asleep, it was going to get me. And like, his family went and they tried to find medication for me. Oh my God, Carlos's family was amazing. His grandmother, like, they really did everything that they could. And so when I started to have the hallucinations and all of that, then I started to think, I don't want my kids to be raised, or to have to raise their mom, a crazy mom, because I had to kind of raise my mom a little bit, it felt. And so then the solution was just kill yourself. So then 6 attempts of suicide. And I was on 9 different antipsychotics. And oh no, where's my, okay. And antidepressants, anti-everything. My life was in shambles. I was a zombie around my family. I couldn't function at all. The medications they had me on had me going manic, up and down. They made everything so much worse. And then instead of noticing that what was going on was a response to the pharmaceuticals they were putting me on, what they did was add more diagnosis. So it was like, oh, well, now you're bipolar. Well, no, I wasn't. Oh, hi, Leah. I love you. I love you. Um, so no, I wasn't bipolar. I was having a reaction to the medication that they put me on. So that's how they ended up adding medications and adding medications and adding medications until I was a zombie. And then I had so many other health problems. So then one day, Medicaid decided that I was already questioning coming off of it. I had learned about a tribe in Africa that viewed mental illness as a spiritual affliction. And instead of using medication, they came at it from a spiritual and energetic point of view. And so I was like really drawn to that. And I, my cat is meowing. Hey guys, can you open the door, Boo? Thank you. Um, so I heard about that and I was like, oh, well, that feels more real. Like what I feel like I'm having is the spiritual experience. And so I was grappling with that. And then at that time, Medicaid decided that overnight, and this is what Medicaid does, this system, the mental health system, my fucking ass. They don't give a shit. They don't fucking care. Wake up, honey. They don't care. So I ended up with all of that stuff going on um, before this one moment. They wanted to do electric shock therapy, which is now illegal. And I said, hell the fuck to the no. No to that. And then Medicaid decided that they were going to overnight stop covering one of the medications that I was on for my mental health that had serious warnings against do not stop this. You know, you have to titrate down. Don't stop this without consulting a doctor. You know, rah, 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 warning, warning, warning. But yet overnight, the price went from being covered by insurance to $650. I was on Effexor at the time. And I went into withdrawals. I went into immediate withdrawals. And I thought I was going to die. We were living in Rosemont at the time. Oh my God. And in a moment of fucking insanity, I said, no, I am done with this. I'm done with this. I'm not doing this anymore. And I actually stopped all of my medications at one time, which I do not suggest at all. I'm pretty sure I almost threw myself into a seizure. So don't do that. If you're on medication, definitely come off slowly with the help of a doctor. Like, it can be very, very, very dangerous. Okay, so and medication works for some people. Healing comes in all different packages. So just because it didn't work for me doesn't mean that it's not going to work for somebody else. I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do. I'm just trying to tell you what worked for me. Because when I was in that system and they were telling me that I was sick and they were telling me that I couldn't do anything to help myself, and nobody was talking about yoga, nobody was talking about meditation, nobody was talking about finding inner peace. It was medication, medication, medication. And so I said, no, I'm done with this game. If they had my best interest at heart, they would not cut the medication and just leave people like this. Because obviously I'm not the only one that affected. So that started my journey with healing or whatever the fuck, because I'm definitely not perfect. I'm super fragmented right now. Like, I mean, I wish I could crawl out of my own skin. I do. I wish I could unzip and crawl out of my own skin. and see really what I look like. Does that make sense to anybody? How about some weird shit? So I was like, how, if I'm not going to take medication and I'm not going to kill myself, then what the fuck am I going to do? How am I going to figure out how to navigate this life? And so I started with like, little basic shit. And uh, it was simple things like, well, I got sober. If you're dealing with mental illness, if you're struggling with mental illness and you're drinking and doing drugs, it's a paradox that we're stuck in when we're doing that. And you have to put the drugs down. Because in the beginning, they bring relief. And in the beginning, they numb everything. But then it leaches out into your life and affects everybody around you and poisons everything and then creates a world around you that you don't want to be alive in. So then you keep drinking to numb it and it keeps going. So of course you're going to be, because drugs and alcohol does the same thing that pharmaceutical drugs do. It cuts us off from that guidance. So anytime we're cut off from that guidance, we're gonna get all fucked up. That's why right now I am so focused on, like, I've done the whole imploding thing. Like I said, like I've done the whole I'm gonna kill myself thing, and it's not like it's a choice. Like I have had to physically restrain myself. Oh God, I wish I could like show. I'm working on creating a project where I can show you what it is on the inside, so you can see what it is that I'm talking about, how I'm wrestling with things. So the first thing is we gotta come off of the substances that are hijacking our brains. And I understand that life is painful and we want to dissociate, and I think that that's fine, but use plants, use things that will take you out of your body and closer to, a higher energy. Because we can still dissociate, but do it in a safer way, if that makes sense, um, mushrooms are great. Like, not only can you get a good buzz going, but you're going to do emotional work too. Are you going to be happy or are you going to cry your eyes out? You never know. It's so exciting, like, so yeah, first get the drugs out. You gotta put them down. And then it was about, okay, if I want to escape my life, right? Which that's what we feel whenever we feel like we want to kill ourselves. Like, I want to escape my life. What is so bad about my life right now that has me feeling like I want to escape? And at that time, well, that's a whole story. But at that time, Carlos and I were together, and we didn't know he was on the spectrum. And if someone's on the spectrum and you don't know it, it can come across as very narcissistic. So I thought I was with a narcissist. And when I looked around my life and I was like, okay, stress is a catalyst for me to be crazy. I got to get rid of everything that's stressful. I was like, you motherfucker are number one. And so I left and I brought in more insanity, but that's not the point. The point is don't do it how I did it, but look around your life and see where is there some stress that you can unload. Where can you ask for help? Um, where can you take something off of your plate? Like a lot of times we push ourselves so hard and that the expectation is so unreachable for what we want to be that we'll soon just rather kill ourselves rather than view it differently. But if we can slow down a little bit and and you know, remember that also these feelings are temporary. That's a big thing too. Because my feelings are all consuming, and I get lost in them. And so, a big thing is being able to like talk to the inner self, because I find a lot of time it's really like a wounded teenager that's like, fuck this, I'm done, And so talking to her and validating the feelings that we're having. The world invalidates us enough. The world tells us all kinds of fucked up bullshit. Don't trust it. Look at it. It's fucked up. Don't fucking listen to the world. It's so fucked up right now. Don't listen to the world. Okay? Don't do it. It's so hard because we are badasses. All of us that are like addressing this stuff and looking at it, like healing it. This is fucking miserable. This work is horrible. I fucking hate this right now. I don't always feel this way. Like I'm saying, feelings are temporary. Thank God, because this feels horrible. But it's how I feel. So that's the next thing. You're going to let yourself feel how you feel without judgment. Like how yesterday I was really judging myself for, well, other people have it so much harder. Why do you think that's bullshit. We feel how we feel. Again, the world shuts us down enough. We're allowed to feel, like I feel like there's this, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but there's this attempt going on to shut down our emotions. And they're using poisons in our air, in our water, in our food, in our medicine, in our television, in our schools, in our governments. It's so fucked up that like we have to validate ourselves. We have to remember to validate ourselves because our experience is real. And we are working through all of that stuff I just mentioned. So be proud of yourself. If you're in this place of this dark night of the soul, if your life is a fucking mess, if your mind is a fucking mess, my mind is a fucking mess right now. I'm a hot fucking mess. And I still know that we're doing what we need to be doing. We're looking at it. We're learning. We're doing videos. We're talking to each other. So that brings me to the next thing to do. Encourage yourself. Stop waiting for other people to encourage you. Stop it. Stop it. Stop looking for outside validation. I say that as I'm doing a YouTube video I'm an attention whore. Whatever. Get over it. So validate yourself. And oftentimes, what I will do is when I'm dealing with something and I'm feeling some kind of way because somebody isn't whatever, I'll look and I'll go, okay, what do I want from this person right now? And a lot of times it's validation or comfort, validation or comfort or attention. And then I'm like, oh, well, can I give that to myself? And then I'll be like, okay, I'll pay myself a compliment. I'll talk about something that I'll boost myself up. I'll give myself some love. And then 99% of the time after that, and I remind myself that their ability to, uh, to, to connect or their inability to connect has nothing to do with me. So I'm not going to take it personal. So that's the other thing. Stop taking life so personal. I say this while I'm in the middle of a pity party and I'm so mad at God, right? But it's important to feel how we feel. This will pass. you know, I have multiple, I have multiple people. It's an ongoing conversation. It's one moment I feel like this, the next moment I feel like this, the next moment I feel like this. Do you guys feel like that? It's so weird. So, validate yourself, compliment yourself, comfort yourself. Sometimes it's not enough and you need to seek outside help or validation, and that's fine. I just have made a rule that I give it to myself first. If I'm needing comfort, like my mom and my dad passed away, so a lot of times I feel very alone, and I miss that comfort. So I'll sit and I'll rock myself and I'll take myself through a meditation where I'm being held by my mom, or I'll sit there and I'll stroke my hair and I'll take myself to a place where she's stroking my hair. Because understand, your brain doesn't know the difference between what you're meditating. You can rewrite stories. I mean, we can look at these things and totally reconstruct them, which is one of the reasons why television is so dangerous, can be so dangerous, which brings me to my next thing. Be really mindful about what you put in your brain. Your body, your brain does not know the difference between you witnessing a murder. And this is crazy to me, but this is true. Look this up. Your brain doesn't know the difference between witnessing a murder in front of you for real and witnessing a murder on the television. Your body will respond. You may be desensitized to it, so your brain may not, jump to react, but the signals will work the same. It will ignite your adrenal system. Your fight or flight response will be kicked in. Your heart will start racing. You can feel that. And the fact that, like, that's part of the infiltration is through desensitizing our emotions. It's an attack on our emotions. And so they subliminally put things. I know this sounds like a conspiracy theorist. I don't fucking care anymore. Okay. Like, I've done a lot of fucking studying. Okay. They do. They put things into our minds, ideas into our minds through art, because, life imitates art. And, and so if you're dealing with mental illness, or if you're dealing with depression, or if you're just dealing with whatever, and you're watching things that are violent or negative or whatever, like, yeah, knock that shit off. Like, you have to stop that. That is silly. Not a judgment, just silly. Um, where's my lighter? Oh, it's stuck to my ass. There we go. So, um, so that, and let me think. What else? Well, I wanted to go back to, okay, the frequency of the music. They, yes, yeah, in the group, in our Telegram group, I don't remember, I think it was Lacey had posted the thing about how they've tweaked the hertz, like, because we're so sensitive to vibration that they've tweaked the hertz. I think it was by 2 little millihertz. I don't know what the fuck it's called. Do your research. Uh, I love you. Not you, but whatever. I love you. Uh, and so um, they did that because it creates just a slight enough irritation that it fucks with us. Okay, so I just saw this thing the other day. We're going to go. Okay, wait. No, no. I am going to finish talking about this and then I will move on to another topic. And that way people can stop watching if they want to know about how to not kill yourself. And then we can move into conspiracy theories if you want to talk about it, because I will talk about it all day long. So also, so food, I mean, everything you're putting in, like, understand that if you are listening or watching something, you are indoctrinating your brain. That's it. We are sponges. And if we watch something or hear something enough times, our brain will take it as reality. Oh, this is the truth. Because that's how our brain keeps us safe. Well, most people's brains. So we want to be mindful. And people will call me an extremist, but I'm telling you, I've experimented. So, like, there's this, the 1 year of Buddhism. It's like there's this introduction to Buddhism. No, it's a practice called the Year of Poverty, where you give up all of your belongings and you live a voluntary year of poverty, which, if I'm honest, this fucked me up for the rest of my life. Because if I'm honest, there was a part of me where, before I had kids, homelessness was so much easier. It was so much easier. It was the most beautiful, carefree year that I ever had. I lived on a friend's front porch in West Palm Beach. We woke up, did yoga every day. She was a yoga instructor. She would wake me up with a bowl, and we'd do yoga. And her husband were amazing. And then Hurricane Charlie came through and took everything away that I did save, because I didn't get rid of all of my belongings. I kept my car, so I had a way to get around. And I kept like scrapbooks that I had. So anyway, I digress. So in that year of poverty, you don't watch TV, you don't listen to the radio, you don't read magazines, you completely shut yourself off from all of that. Back then, this was a lot easier to do than now because there wasn't any of this social media stuff. And so I was there in 2004. That wasn't 2004. When was that? I don't know. Anyway, what was I talking about? Okay, hold on. See, this is why I shouldn't do lives, and so I could edit my video. If you know what I was talking about, tell me. Tia, what was I talking about? But we're very susceptible is what I'm saying, is what I'm trying to say. So you want to be really conscious about what you're putting in, because they will introduce they. Who's they? I don't fucking know. Who is they? Who is they? Who is they? because I don't know, but there's someone else, right? Like there's some sort of elite or higher power. Like, there's something, right? There's some. It, I don't know. This world is so crazy. I can get just lost in questioning it. So that brings me to another thing. I learned how to ground my energy, and that our minds are sponges. Mindful of what you poverty you weren't. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So I thank you. So during that year of poverty, I shut off all of this like media stuff, right? And then after the year of poverty, I was like, Buddhism isn't for me, which I'm still. I didn't realize it, but I have still a lot of Buddhist beliefs. Um, and then I started watching television and stuff again, and immediately this judgment and shame and comparison and inadequacy, all of this stuff came in, and I was like, holy fucking shit, our minds are being fucked with. And until I had kids and I lost the battle over whether we had a TV or not, I didn't have a TV, and I was very happy. And I still do well with it. I go through phases with it, but if I watch a lot of TV, then I won't be doing well emotionally or mentally, because it disconnects us. Like anytime we disconnect. So even through all of this, like the other day, I'm not going to lie, I wanted to take a bunch of Xanax. I just wanted to completely disconnect. I didn't want to kill myself. I just wanted to sleep for a few days. And I had to remind myself that no, I am here to do this work. It is painful right now. I hate it right now. In this moment, it feels all consuming. In this moment, if I could tear apart the fucking world with my bare hands, I would. I would. I would tear it down. I'd eat its heart, watch it bleed all over me. I fucking hate the systems that are set up. It's not set up for anybody but the people who are up there, you know. But um you know, you can't do that. And oh man, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, right? So I'm at this I go into this existential crisis where I don't know what's true anymore. I feel like I float into this void where I'm just like, oh my god, what do I believe? I don't know what's real anymore. Like, I thought that was real. Is that still real? Was I just doing it wrong? You know, like, did I just miss the boat on that? Uh, you know, so the other thing is that I have to make sure that I tell people what's going on in my brain, because I can walk off the edge real easy. Carlos, oh, I love him. Look, I don't know if I told you, but I lost my pendant. I had one that I had gotten in 2002, and it looked just like this, but it was a little bit bigger. The stone was a little bit bigger, and I had it for all those years, and then I just lost it. And I looked and looked and looked, and I couldn't find anything like it. So I gave up. I was like, you know what? God knows where it is, so it's not lost. As long as God knows where it is, then that's good. Then good. Then it's not lost. And for some reason, that brought me a lot of comfort, so I let it go. Well, we got home from vacation, and this was what I got for my birthday. He got me a replacement. I'm so excited. But he's really been awesome. Like earlier today, he addressed me as all of you. He was like, I love all of you. And I was like, ah. So that's something else that's happening too, is like, by this whole thing where I was afraid of being seen, now I've just been honest with who I am. It's brought people closer to me, to be on, like telling me like they're struggling with mental illness too, and they feel like they don't want to be here either, you know. And then also it's opened up more communication between Carlos and I, where I had been masking a lot with him, and I just can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. I can't. It makes me go into a deep dive of depression if I can't be authentic. And when I was not living with him, it was fine because I would have a lot of time by myself. I could just fucking be crazy. Um, but now I've been kind of shoving it all in, and that's not good because it ends up boiling over. And so instead of boiling over this time, I chose differently, and I just chose to be honest. And he's been amazing. I'm so grateful. So get yourself surrounded by supportive people, and understand that your partner may not be the person. Okay, years ago when I went through psychosis, he was not the person to go to. He was having his own trauma response, and he couldn't be there for me. Not because he didn't love me, but because he was in his own experience. And I didn't understand that then. So I pushed and I pushed, and it drew us further and further apart because I was re traumatizing him. What I learned was find an appropriate audience. Start a fucking YouTube channel. See who shows up, you know? And find a therapist. Find a friend that you know I can talk to about this. Because not every person is capable of holding space for any type of conversation. Some people are not comfortable enough with other people's emotions to hold space for our emotions, and we need to not take that personally. It has nothing to do with us. It has everything to do with their trauma and how they're responding to their trauma. They probably had their emotions shut down, so the way they're dealing with your emotions is to shut them down too. So surround yourself with supportive, appropriate people that you can talk to. Um, and sometimes, there's yoga and meditation have been indispensable. So getting into yoga, meditation, move your body. Just do something to move your body. You got to move your body. Even when I was bedridden, I did bed yoga. I stretched my legs every day. We have to dig ourselves up out of this. We have to be our own cheerleader. We have to step into our own power. We can kick and scream the whole way. I'm furious. I hate this. I'm so angry that it's like this right now. Ah! Like I told Carlos we were driving from that fucking apartment. Oh my god, it was so pretty, and then it smelled like cat piss. I was so upset. And we were driving, and I was like, I need to punch things. I need to get this energy out, you know? So move your body, eat clean food. They're poisoning our food. It's messing with our central nervous system. It hijacks our histamine responses. Like, do some research into the food. Like, I feel like everybody knows this at this point. Like, they're poisoning our food. And a lot of the dyes and stuff, they mess with our brains. So that was a really big one for me, was like stopping eating the chemicals. You know, if we and it sucks. And I'm not perfect. I definitely still like dive in and eat. Like when I was on vacation, oh my god, forget about it. It was like crazy. Um and that might be why I'm having a harder time emotionally regulating right now, because I had all of that sugar and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So the food, I know it's hard, but it plays a really big part of it. And sometimes, after even counseling and after even support, and after all of that, you still need a break. And for that, I turned to cannabis. It is a medication that has allowed me to come off of other medications, it helps me calm down the voices. It settles things. It amplifies my spiritual connection. So it amplifies my connection to nature, to angels, to or if we're looking at it like I have schizophrenia or dissociative identity disorder, it puts me in touch with the nicer voices, the nicer people. Um, I eat it. It kills Lyme disease. Um, it helps with anxiety. It stimulates my appetite because in order to eat good food, you have to have an appetite. And with the health stuff I have, and if you're not getting the right amount of nutrients, your brain can't function. That's the other thing too, is like, if let's think about this, okay? If we know this, if we know that our brain needs certain nutrition in order for it to function properly, but yet the government pushes companies that sell food that doesn't have that nutritional standard, that has additives in it that contribute to hyperactivity and histamine responses and like all of that stuff. They know that sugar is like addictive, like heroin, but it's in everything. Like, stop trusting. Like, here's the thing, if you're fucking crazy, chances are you actually know what the fuck is going on. That's how I feel. Maybe that's because I'm crazy, but it feels like those of us who see these things become the mentally ill, become the conspiracy theorists, become the extremists. We become like the jester almost, But it's like, what if, I don't know how people can't see it at this point. I don't know. I don't know how people can't see it at this point. So it's like that in and of itself can make you want to leave the world. So it's like, well, what do you do with that? And what I've done with that is I've chosen to do what makes me feel better. I've chosen to do in the moment, because all we can deal with is in the moment. Like, our brain can go all different places, but we have a physical body. So we can take action only in this moment. So we want to bring ourselves in the moment. And then sometimes we're in the moment and the moment is too painful. So we want to do work with our thinking and our perception so that we can get to a place where we feel safe enough to be in the moment. I don't know if that makes sense, but for me, that looks like bringing myself present. I start naming things around me, and then I move into naming things that I love that are around me. That way, I'm bringing myself present, and I'm raising my vibration to a vibration of love, appreciation, and gratitude. And then once I'm in that space, because my brain will get crazy. My brain will be like, kill yourself, kill yourself, kill yourself, kill yourself, kill yourself, kill yourself. You should just kill yourself. You're a horrible mom. You should just kill yourself. You would be doing yourself, your kids, a favor if you just killed yourself. They're going to end up having to take care of your old, crippled ass. You should just kill yourself. Like, this is the voices. These are what my voices say. And I say, not today, bitch. Not to fucking day. Where is that voice coming from? And I'll find like, oh, I'm feeling inadequate. I yelled at my kids. I'm judging myself. Blah, 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 blah. And I'll be like, oh, well, is it true? Like, is that true? What I'm thinking? Is that true? Is it really true? Or am I like perverting it with like my history and my own experience? Or is it like, and most of the time what I'm thinking isn't even true, so I can just let it go. But I've had to learn to work. You have to work with your thoughts. You have to go in, you have to talk to yourself. Maybe you don't have multiple personalities the way I do, but you have different sides of yourself that you can go in and you can talk to and have these conversations with. And, you know, a lot of what I think we're going through is learning how to self parent. Our parents didn't have, again, it's not personal, they didn't have access to the information that we have now. They didn't have the internet. They didn't have the support. They didn't have the social media. They didn't have shit. They didn't have shit. And so they did a lot, like all the generations before them, that were really fucked up. And now, because we have access to all of this information and knowledge instantly at our fingertips, we're going through a massive, like, growth spurt. You know what I mean? So, our parents, they did what they did with what they had. And it's time that we stop holding them prisoner and holding ourselves prisoner. Let that go and take responsibility for ourselves, you know, however we can. I'm not always able to take full responsibility. I while out here and there. If it weren't for Carlos, I would be a homeless woman on the street. I would. And I'd be happy with it. Was the crazy part of it. I wouldn't be happy with it. I don't want that. And and yeah, he helps me so fucking much. It's really ridiculous. So in whatever capacity, you know, you can. And what else? You know, parent yourself. And I have to talk to myself. Like, I have to go in and I'm like, I know you want to kill yourself right now. I know it feels like it's that bad, you know? And I allow myself this freedom to, in my mind, see it happening, like me talking to me, whoever me, whatever that looks like that's hurting. Is it a white energy? Is it a body part? Is it another person? Like, whatever that looks like, I imagine that, you know, and I talk to it and I listen to it and then I fucking validate it. And I still go crazy when when my world is shook, like the disability thing, like it really, I 100% thought that I had it. And so it's been a spiritual thing also. It's really, 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 meh. Fucked everything. Oh, my mind is crazy right now. And not or, not but, and I know that this is temporary. I know I have the tools necessary in order for me to fucking army crawl my way out of this fucking hill. And that's what it fucking feels like. Like we got fucking army crawl your way, kicking and fucking screaming to being the person we came here to be. Okay? Fucking, I used to think you had to be positive. Fuck positivity. I can hate this and keep going at the same time. I hate all of it. I can't even tell you I hate all of it. I hate all of it. I hate it. I want it to die. I want all the systems to fucking die. I don't want people to be harmed. I want these systems to fall. You know? And I'm gonna step up and be a part of the I'm going to do whatever I can to be whatever help or benefit I can be. Sometimes that looks like today I took a shower. Sometimes it looks like today I didn't kill myself. And that's good. And yeah, that's how to not kill yourself. That's how I don't kill myself. That's what I do. That's what I do on a consistent moment to moment basis. All of those things are happening at the same time. It's pretty crazy. So I hope that was cohesive. I'm actually thinking about writing a book called How to Not Kill Yourself. I know it's very tongue-in-cheek, but I really feel like it's just like that. Like sometimes it's just fucking like that. And there's people who are out of it and they're telling you, okay, do this and you'll feel better and stuff. But I don't know. Uh, I wanna show what it looks like to come out of it, because like this is just something that I live with. It's just something that I live with, but I'm learning that it doesn't have to dictate my life. It doesn't have to run my life. I don't have to let these urges, overrun my life. And I want to say that I can say that because I'm in a safe environment, because I have support around me, because I've laid the foundation. Like if you're in a traumatic experience, if you're being abused, you're not going to heal. You have to get away. You have to do whatever you can to get away. You're not going to heal while you are in the abuse, and it's horrible. And I wish it were different, because it means a lot of people struggle, and a lot of people, women will, because we live in a fucking patriarchy, women will go homeless. Like I went homeless with my boys for years because of the fucking patriarchy. I say that, and I also don't support feminism either. So, how about that conundrum? And I'm sorry that it's so hard, guys. But we can do hard things. Like Glennon Doyle. Y'all need to look up Glennon Doyle. Together, we can do hard things. Yeah. And it's fucking hard. So, that's my spiel. Any questions? Any, any other conversations you want to have? I'll talk all day long. Let's get high and philosophize. I don't know if I can do this, but I'm doing it. I don't fucking care. I know the comments take a minute, so I'm just gonna wait. It says Tia, it says there were 2 comments that were retracted. I don't know what that means. And then this Cosimo Ray had comments retracted, but I saw his before they were retracted. It was like, yo, mama, Italian boy. Babies babble. Yeah. Did they grab the phone? All right. Well, that's it. Oh, don't be sorry. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I wanted to say. I just appreciate that you have this on in the background. Thank you. I'm trying to think if I just want to make sure that I'm not like losing. I mean, there's a lot that I'm leaving out, which is why I'm wanting to do a book. But I think that was the long and the short of it. You know what I mean? It comes down to understanding that um, in the moment, in the present moment, is where we have connection to whatever the fuck guidance is out there. I'm so mad at it right now. I wish I could punk kick it in its face. And it's okay. I can say things like that about my spirit guides because they're fucking magnificent spirit guides and they can handle me being angry. So, um, oh, my children make the. My son is on the spectrum, and so he makes very funny noises. Oh, daddy's telling him to be quiet. Anyway. All right. That's my story. Thanks for joining. If you have any questions, um, or things you want to talk about, let's talk about it. Let's talk about this. I'm fucking tired of not talking about it. Let's say maybe if we all just talk about it, we'll feel better. We'll see. Have a good day. Love you.